I thought this was going to be fun. This doesn't work. I can't believe this. You are no longer my friend. We're not friends anymore. I'm unfriending you on Facebook, everywhere. When I first got my degree in teaching, I was a kindergarten teacher at Sacred Heart in Gladwin, and I taught preschool and kindergarten, and those children learned in spite of me my first year, not because of me. They were wonderful, and I did that for a few years, and then I had my first child, took one look at him and said, I'm not going back to work, and instead I taught night school for adult ed, and I loved that too. So the way I came to Beaverton was Scott Wagner and I had finished the EI endorsement together, and he said, hey, there's an opening in Beaverton and they want you to apply. And they hired me. Joanne Cashin would later become my boss in special ed. So that was 2001, January. My first day was a bomb threat. I was here about 10 minutes and we were loaded onto buses, and Greg turned to me and said, bet you're glad you took this job. And I'm like, oh yeah. And why'd I stay? I stayed because I believe in this school. I believe in our staff. I believe in our children. I believe I was needed. And I needed them. I think there's a delicate balance, but I saw that those kids needed something extra, and that they didn't belong in a lot of groups, and I wanted to create a place where they always belonged. And did that through having a guinea pig, which brought in kids, all my various pets, a rabbit, but I stuck with it because they needed a place where somebody cared about them and they didn't fall through the cracks. But maybe they'll look back on their lives and say, I remember that old bag, Mrs. Smith, and she cared about me. The really, really tough kids, the ones that tend to be explosive, push you away with both hands, my approach with them, well, first of all, I'm a hell of a persistent person. It's really going to take a lot for me to give up on somebody. But my approach is give them space initially. I had to learn this the hard way. Say my piece to them and walk away. I am a dog with a bone, and I know this about me. I'm a big nag. And I used to just stand there until that kid would do it. Well, that just makes an explosion. And I had to learn, say my piece, walk away. And then as soon as I saw them doing something nice, I always have candy on hand. I would drop candy beside them and go, just because you're you. And that really freaks them out, like, what the hell is she talking about? I'm a jerk, why is she? And then slowly worm my way in. It's not gonna happen overnight, but they have to become my buddy. And I might say to them, you look like you're having a tough day. I spend so much money on my classroom and I don't care. I have cappuccino. You want to come in for a cappuccino sometime? You look like a person who could use caffeine. Why don't you come with me? But the goal is always, I didn't buy this when I was a young teacher, that the goal is the relationship first and academics second. I thought that was BS. We're here to do a job, blah, 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 and I'm a workaholic, so let's get this job done. But not everybody's a workaholic. And these kids, if we don't make a relationship with them somehow, I know everybody's heard the relationship word, that's the buzzword right now, and it makes you want to vomit. But the point is, you've got to find a way so that they can trust you. If you don't want to say relationship, trust. And until they trust you, they don't give what you have to say about anything. And then once they've had your cappuccino and they've met your guinea pig, and you tell them, hey, the guinea pig needs water, would you do this? You start bringing them in as helpers to you. You have something I need. Can you help me with that? You can bring them in, and the goal is bring them in because once I have their trust, they might trust me to show them something. Even if it's only a life lesson, even if it isn't geometry or calculus, at least it's something. I showed them that there is a way in life you will fit in. I think educating kids today is maybe the toughest it's ever been because there's so many other forces at work. I've learned so much from my colleagues, and Al Hawley used to say to me, you're standing between them and socialization. And now socialization, 20 years ago, was different. Now socialization includes Snapchat and Twitter and all this other, and their phones. And they have access in a way we never did before, which has made it so much more difficult. And the families, I think, are in crisis in our society right now. And so you're working against a lack of value for education. So somehow you've got to find something here to give these kids that makes them want to be here. And if all it is that when they get here, somebody smiles and waves at them, then that's what we can offer. But I think the job, at least as long as I've taught, has never been tougher. I think the average person would be surprised by just how much teachers care. And that our staff truly is the most caring staff I've ever worked with, hands down. I think the negative side would be the amount of anger and apathy that our children seem to bring to the table that we have to get underneath in order to reach them. And that got him on my side, at least. We have to give them responsibilities, and we have to give them some power. They're going to need power. Do we want them to decide where their power is, or do we want to show them where their appropriate use of power is? And I prefer that. I think we're doing much more here than educating. I think we're raising kids in a morality, structurally, here in school that we never had to before. I hope the motivation for anyone who's going into education now is, it's not simply I like kids, but not only do you like them, but you're devoted to helping them through the bumps that you lived through yourself. And that you came into it because you care and you want to see this next generation make it. And that you realize it will probably be the toughest thing you'll ever do other than short of raising your own children. This is the toughest job I've ever had. And it's pathetic to say it's the toughest job you'll ever love, but it's true. If you can make a difference in a couple of kids' lives here, maybe not all of them, you can't save them all, but a few, my God, you'll go to sleep at night thinking, I did something in this planet. I was useful for a few minutes. That's all I wanted. I was them. I was a troubled kid from a troubled home. And I know what I needed in a teacher, and I couldn't find it until junior high. And then I blossomed because I knew somebody cared. And that's all I want to show them through my fairness, and my strictness, and my cynicism, and my sarcasm. Kind of the Woody thing from Buzz Lightyear. You got a friend in me. You also got a parent. And you're stuck with all of it. Graduation. Oh, geez, I don't know if I can do this. Being asked to be their speaker last year. Probably the highlight of my career. And the way I chose how I would go about it was, I've seen so many rah-rah speeches on television to commencements, and I mean, you tune out about 3 seconds in. You're like, yeah, we're gonna do great, rah-ha, hand me the diploma. And I realized I love each one of these kids individually. And some I knew better than others. And I wanted to come up with something personal so that they all knew what I've been preaching to you this whole time, which is that you're important to me as the person that you are. And that you matter, not just the popular kids, not just the smart kids. Every single one of you made an impact and will make an impact in this planet. And I wanted them to know that. It was terrifying, but it was probably one of the top honors of my career. Not only that, but just every day, a kid who would say, "You're my favorite teacher." Not many say it, probably less mean it, but that means something. I still love the job. I still love the job. We don't even want to talk about this. I don't know. I am very worried about it. I'm tired. I would love to do part-time. I have no desire to be retired per se. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably end back up here, substitute something, because I need to be needed. That's why I went into the profession. And I still love this place. I love the kids, I love the staff, I like the friendships. Yeah, I'm not prepared for retirement yet. I'm struggling. I need to be needed. Maybe I'll get a grandchild, play that for my kid. Never underestimate how much you mean to this community, how much you mean to the people in your life, how much you mean to me as a human being. Even if you're not like the star student, don't underestimate how many people are there for you. Sometimes you gotta look, but they're out here. They're either in this school or they're in your life somewhere. Don't give up looking for them. There's somebody out there that will be there for you because you have worth. And every one of us here has seen it, even if they don't believe it. And if not, I'll give you my phone number, call me, and I'll tell you what your worth was, because I saw it in every one of them. What was the question?